Okay, so we were talking about aggregation yesterday, and today we're going to talk about a cumulative and non-cumulative key figure. There are two types of key figures. For each and every key figure, you have options to make it as it's cumulative or non-cumulative. So what is a cumulative key figure? These key figures can be meaningfully accumulated over a period of time. Yesterday when I'm talking about aggregation, there are situations what type of aggregations we have to select. Depends on the data. The same situation for key figure also. If you want to make a cumulative or non-cumulative, depends on the data type and depends on the situation, what type of meaningful information you want to accumulate, that can be set up. So for example, let's take the billing quantity for a customer over several months can be accumulated to get a total billing quantity for the customer for the quarter. So if you do this one, you will get a meaningful information if you do the calculations. We call this type of data calculations, if you want to set up in a key figure, that should be a cumulative key figure. Coming back to non-cumulative key figures, this cannot be accumulated meaningfully over a period of time. See, you need to observe one point here. We are talking about a period of time. So we clearly talking about the time of the data. So we are taking the time of the data when the data has been loaded, and we are doing a calculation based on a periods, like from this particular month to this particular month, or from 1 year to 2 years, or whatever it is. So we are taking off the time here. This is very important for the key figure if you want to make a cumulative or non-cumulative. So there are certain data or there are certain key figures we cannot accumulate meaningfully, as we have seen in a previous example yesterday. Population I cannot do aggregation or summation, right? So for example, let's take inventory of certain material over 3 months of quarter cannot be added to get total inventory of end of the quarter. I have given you yesterday the same example to you. Inventory always it will be in stock and out stock, so I cannot add them, I cannot do the summation them to get a total inventory and end of the quarter. So this kind of situation, this kind of data, I set up as a non-cumulative key figure. The transaction data loading. Especially we're going to use the key figures for loading a transaction data from flat file or from your any type of data sources. Either it might be SAP data source or non-SAP data sources. As we discussed in our previous classes, the data types are two types: master data, transaction data. So the first mandatory option here is, rather I can say it is not a mandatory, the best practices. If you want to load a transaction data, the master data should be loaded first. Why? Why should we load the master data? What is the reason for this? The reason because if you load the transaction data without master data, there is no meaning for the transaction data. Let's say that I will load a transaction data quantity, price, amount. Okay, I have a quantity, I have a price, I have amount. Which product? We don't have that information. Who purchased this? We don't have that information. If you don't have that information, do you get a meaning to this transaction data? No. This is the reason why we say that you have to load master data first, then only you have to load transaction data. So to loading a transaction data, we have a data targets, or the transaction data can be loaded and stored into a data targets or info providers. We call InfoCubes and DSO. DSO stands for data store object. These two are main targets or info providers for transaction data to store the transaction data at the BW level. Let's talk about first InfoCube. In the beginning of the classes, we discussed that SAP BW supports a multi-dimensional modeling. What is a multi-dimensional modeling? A multi-dimensional data container we use to store historical data and used for multi-dimensional analysis. To create this, the transaction codes are RS11, RSDQ. So what is a multi-dimension? Multi-dimension is nothing but, rather than keeping all the data into one single, let me explain to you in a better way. Let's say, for example, I have a flat file. So what happens is, if I load all the data into this particular file, if I'm loading here customer data, I'm loading master data, okay, then I'm loading material data, then transaction data. So if you load, for example, let's say that there is a text, okay, customer data, product data, material data, then I have a transaction data. Okay, so I'm loading all the data into one single table. What in case if I want to get a material data? Then what I need to do? I need to go through this customer product, then I need to get the material data. Of course it is possible to open, there is no issues with this. Here I'm talking only the part of the how speed this particular setup runs. Okay, there is a little performance issue because there is a lot of data in one particular table. It is a mix of all the data. Then the reading performance will be slowed down. The reason because when I want to read a particular data, I need to go through other data which is not required to read. See, I have to read a customer data, I have to read a product data, then only the system will start reading a material data. So here unnecessarily we are reading other data which is not required. So it will become little slow comparing with the performance related information.
Can you repeat again,
So,
Kiran, don't mind?
See, if you load all the data into one single table, if you want to pick up one particular record or one particular data, you have to read other unnecessary data which is not required for that particular task. So it is going to slow down your performance. But I'm not saying this is a completely wrong. We are not supposed to load this. I'm not saying that one. We can load like this. There is no harm in this. There is no problem in this. I'm talking about if you mix all the data, what would be the problem? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the data and let me keep only transaction data here. Okay, when I keep only transaction data, then what I'm going to do here, I'm going to add a table, a separate table here. Okay, then one more table here, one more table here, one more table here. Okay, so these are the tables which I'm going to use. Then what I'm going to do here is, let's say that then I want to make this a table. This is customer data and this would be a master data. Let's say this is going to be material data. This is going to be product data. This is going to be something like, you know, stock. I have only transaction data. So what I'm doing here, I'm dividing the data. What data? I'm dividing a master data into different folders or different tables. Okay, according to this is a table. We call this is a dimension table. Okay, all are dimension tables only. This is also dimension table. This is also dimension table. This is also dimension table. We call this is a fact table. A fact table contains always transaction data. Dimension table contains always master data. So what I'm doing, I'm dividing the data into different tables. So it is easy for me to, for example, I want to read a material data. It goes to one particular place where only material data contains here. The performance will be more faster comparing with the previous situation. So what exactly happening here? I'm keeping my transaction data in center, surrounded by all my master data dimension tables, connecting these tables to each other. Then we call it is a star schema. Why I call it is a star schema? A fact table in center surrounded by the dimension tables look like a star. We call it as a star schema. What is a schema? A schema is nothing but this is a schema. It is not a line. It is a relationship in between the dimension table and the fact table. The relationship in between dimension table and fact table is called schema. Guys, if you remember that, I clearly told you in the beginning classes, SAP BW backend database will be always database system. What is that? Oracle or SQL or HANA. These are RDBMS systems. What is a RDBMS stands for? Relational Database Management System. What is a relational database management system? It will be relating with each other of the tables. Then only it will display complete details of the data from all the tables merged into one single data. For example, I want to display the one particular transaction has been made which customer. The transaction data will be displayed from this table. The customer data will be displayed from this table. So both will be displayed as a single data. But the data is coming from the two different tables. How the data is coming from the two different tables? Because of the relation. How this relation has been created? It's very simple. I'm going to show how the relation has been created here. For example, let's take on the customer data. I have here customer ID, customer name, then I have age, address. Okay. Then same situation here. I have, for example, a material ID here. Material ID, material name, brand, color. Then here I have a stock. It is like total stock, inflow, outflow. Let's take product. I have product ID, product name, then I have size, category. Okay, so how these tables are connected with each other or not with each other, how these tables are connected with the fact table? It will be connected like this. Customer ID, material ID, then product ID. After this, then the table will be starting with transaction data like quantity, price, amount. So what is this called? This particular key we call here cust ID is primary key for whenever you're creating a master data, let's say customer data, but we call it is a cust ID is called a dimension ID. Here material ID is called dimension ID in this InfoCube, but generally I'll say it is my primary object. So all the primary objects making as a dimension IDs will be stored in your InfoCube fact table. After that only the transaction data table will be created. So customer ID, since I have here, I can get always customer data automatically because these two tables has been connected. So when I say customer ID is a primary key here, then in this fact table the customer ID will be foreign key. A primary key in one table, the same primary key another table we call it's a foreign key. This is the relation how the tables will be connected. Primary key and foreign key both are similar. So whenever I call customer data by this ID, by this particular object, it will retrieve all the data from the customer table. This is the relation. This is how the InfoCube setups in the behind the screen. Guys, is it clear for everyone? What is a dimension table? What is a fact table? And how the dimension table and fact tables related each other?
Yes, Kiran. Why do we miss this total stock, that is inventory table, inventory ID? Does it the total stock dimension table?
See, total stock dimension, I don't have an ID here. Okay, so I have taken this one as only for example. Rather than this, let's take one more example. For example,
inventory
product subcategory, like a product subcategory.
Okay.
Product ID subcategory. Then you can take in under product ID for example, we categorize the products into different, like all the electronics. Okay, electronics ID. Then you have like a home appliance ID. Then you have, for example, electrical IDs. Then you can take any IDs, any one of this ID. Okay, then you can keep it here. It's only example purpose I have taken. I have not added the ID, so I have not connected. See, the point here is you need to understand how the dimension tables will be organized, how it will be connected with the fact table, what data contains a dimension table, what data contains a fact table, how these two are interlinked each other. What is this called? This is what very important. This is called a star schema. This is how the structure will be created whenever you create InfoCube. InfoCube will be, what happens is by default it will be creating one fact table and one dimension table for us. Okay, there are three system defined tables. We talk about those things. It will be only one. It depends on your requirement. You need to create a number of dimensions. It doesn't mean that I'm showing here you have to create only 4 dimensions. No. You can create only 1 dimension also. You can create up to maximum 13 dimensions you can create. It completely depends on your requirement. How many dimension tables you have to create. If they ask you to create 10, you need to create 10. If they ask you to create only 1, you need to create only 1. But you should know why you are creating, how you need to create. That is what you're learning here. Guys, is it clear for everyone? What is this start schema?
Yeah.
I need a quick answers, please.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, rest of the people. Dinesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is a very important star schema. They're going to ask you in an interview, what is a star schema? You need to tell that a fact table is surrounded by the dimension table, which looks like a star. We call it is a star schema. A dimension table contains a master data. A fact table contains a transaction data. A fact table and dimension table will be connected to each other. That is, the relationship is called schema. How it is connected? The dimension tables which has a primary key, then the fact table automatically take that particular primary key as a foreign key. Based on this foreign key, the tables will be connected with each other. Please explain like this in interview, then they'll be happy with this. Okay.